I never thought I'd be the type of person to believe in time travel or alternate realities, but after what happened last week, I'm not so sure about anything anymore. It started with a phone call, just an ordinary ring on a Tuesday afternoon while I was working from home. I picked up, expecting it to be my boss or maybe a telemarketer. Instead, a woman's voice came through, familiar, yet off somehow. "Hello, Megan. This is going to sound crazy, but I need you to listen carefully. I'm you from 3 weeks in the future." I almost hung up right then, but something in her tone made me pause. She sounded desperate, scared even. "Look, I know how this sounds," the voice continued, "but I can prove it. In about 30 seconds, you're going to spill your coffee all over those expense reports on your desk." I glanced at my mug, sitting dangerously close to a stack of papers. "That's ridiculous," I started to say, but my elbow caught the edge of the cup as I turned. Hot liquid splashed across my desk, soaking the documents. My heart started racing. It had to be a coincidence, right? Some elaborate prank, but as I mopped up the mess with shaking hands, the voice kept talking. "I know it's hard to believe, but please, you have to trust me. Things are about to get very, very bad if you don't listen." She, or I guess, went on to describe my entire day in detail. The flat tire I'd get driving home, the exact wording of an email from a client. By the time night fell, I was thoroughly freaked out. The next morning, another call came just as I was getting ready for work. "Don't go in today," my supposed future self pleaded. "Please, Megan, stay home." But I had a big presentation. I couldn't just bail because of some weird phone stalker, even if she did seem to know things she shouldn't. So I ignored the warning and headed to the office. It wasn't until lunchtime that I found out about the pileup on the highway. A multi-car crash had shut down all lanes for hours, and among the fatalities was Sarah, my co-worker, the one I usually carpooled with on Wednesdays. I sat at my desk, staring at my phone in horror. If I'd listened, if I'd offered Sarah a ride instead of driving alone. The calls kept coming after that, each one more frantic than the last. My future self warned me about a gas leak in my building, a mugging in the park I jogged through, even a recall on my favorite brand of frozen dinners that would have given me food poisoning. I started following her instructions to the letter. I was too scared not to. But with each passing day, I felt my grip on reality slipping. I barely left my apartment. I jumped at every sound. The constant dread of what calamity might be lurking around the corner was eating me alive. A week in, the tone of the calls changed. My future self sounded different, colder somehow. "You're not doing enough," she snapped when I answered. "You're still making the wrong choices. If you do not fix this, fix everything, there wouldn't be any future left to save." I tried to argue, to explain how hard I was trying, but she cut me off. "I'm running out of time. We're running out of time. If you don't listen now, I'll have to take your place." The line went dead. I stared at my phone, a chill running down my spine. What did she mean, take my place? That night I couldn't sleep. Every creak of the building, every car passing on the street below, set my nerves on edge. I paced my living room, peering out the fog-smeared windows at the empty sidewalk. It was nearly 3 a.m. when I saw her. At first, I thought it was just my reflection in the glass, distorted by exhaustion and paranoia. But then she moved. Standing on the other side of the street was me. An exact copy, down to the pajamas I was wearing. She raised a hand, beckoning. I stumbled back from the window, heart pounding. This couldn't be real. I was hallucinating, I had to be. But when I looked again, she was closer. Crossing the street now, heading straight for my building. Panic clawed at my throat. I ran to the door, fumbling with the locks, but my hands were shaking so badly I could barely work the deadbolt. A knock echoed through the apartment, soft at first, then louder, more insistent. "Megan," my own voice called from the hallway. "Let me in. You know it has to be this way." I backed away, looking wildly around for something, anything, I could use to defend myself. But what good would a weapon do against myself? The knocking turned to pounding. I could hear wood splintering as the door began to give. "I tried to warn you," the voice outside growled. "I tried to save you, but you wouldn't listen. Now there's only one way left to fix this." The door burst open, and there I was, staring at my own face twisted with rage and desperation. "Your time is up," my doppelganger snarled. "It's my turn now." She lunged forward. I screamed, throwing my arms up to protect myself. But instead of an impact, I felt a strange, sickening lurch, like the world was turning inside out around me. When I opened my eyes, I was standing in the hallway. The door to my apartment was closed, unmarked. From inside, I could hear myself screaming. I looked down at my hands. They were shaking, but solid, real. I was here, in this moment. But was I still me? I don't know how long I stood there, listening to my own terrified cries from the other side of the door. Eventually they faded. Silence fell. I should have left then. Should have run as far and as fast as I could, but some sick curiosity kept me rooted to the spot. After what felt like hours, my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number flashed on the screen. "Your turn to make the calls. Don't screw it up this time." I stared at the message, my mind reeling. Was this how it started? Had I become the very thing I'd been running from? But I knew, with a certainty that chilled me to my core, that I would make those calls. I would try to fix whatever had gone so horribly wrong, even if it meant becoming the monster in someone else's nightmare. Because now I understood. Time isn't a straight line. It's a loop, endlessly repeating. And I was trapped in it, doomed to relive this horror again and again. Unless I could find a way to break the cycle, to save myself, past, present, and future. I took a deep breath, fingers hovering over the keypad, and I dialed my own number, praying that this time, somehow, it would be different. I never thought I'd find myself living in the middle of nowhere, but here I am. My girlfriend and I had just moved into this old rental house, miles from the nearest town. The isolation was supposed to be peaceful, a chance to escape the chaos of city life. But from the moment we arrived, something felt off. It was late afternoon when we pulled up to the house, our car kicking up dust on the long gravel driveway. The sun was setting behind the trees, casting long shadows across the overgrown yard. As we got out of the car, stretching after the long drive, I noticed movement on the front porch. There, sitting calmly as if it had been waiting for us, was a large black dog. Its fur was shaggy and unkempt, but its eyes were alert and fixed on us intently. I figured it must belong to one of the neighbors, though I couldn't see any other houses nearby through the thick woods surrounding us. "Hey there, buddy," I called out, approaching slowly. The dog's tail wagged slightly, but it didn't move from its spot. My girlfriend Sarah hung back, eyeing it warily. "Should we let it inside?" she asked as we carried our first load of boxes to the porch. I shrugged. "Nah, I'm sure its owners will come looking for it soon. We can leave some water out, though." As the days passed, the dog became a constant presence. It never tried to come inside, but it was always there, watching from the porch, patrolling the perimeter of the yard, alert to every sound and movement. At first, it was comforting to have a guard dog of sorts, but as time went on, its behavior started to seem less protective and more controlling. The basement door was located just off the kitchen. The first time I tried to go down there to check the circuit breaker, the dog appeared out of nowhere, growling low in its throat. It planted itself firmly in front of the door, hackles raised. I backed off, deciding it wasn't worth the hassle. But it kept happening. Any time Sarah or I would approach that door, the dog would materialize, blocking our path. We started avoiding the basement altogether, joking nervously about what it might be guarding down there. As the days turned to weeks, the atmosphere in the house grew increasingly tense. The dog's constant vigilance was starting to wear on us. Its eyes seemed to follow our every move, even through the windows. At night, I'd wake to the sound of it pacing on the porch, nails clicking against the worn wooden boards. We tried asking the nearest neighbors about the dog, but they just shrugged and said they'd never seen it before. When we called the landlord, he brushed off our concerns, saying he'd look into it, but never following up. Then came the night that changed everything. It was well past midnight, and a storm was raging outside. Rain lashed against the windows as thunder shook the old house to its foundations. Sarah and I were huddled on the couch, neither of us able to sleep through the noise. Suddenly the lights flickered and went out, plunging us into darkness. As my eyes adjusted, I saw a flash of lightning illuminate the dog's face, pressed against the living room window, its eyes reflecting an eerie green glow. Before I could react, an unearthly howl cut through the storm. It was the dog, but it sounded wrong, distorted, almost human. We heard frantic scratching at the kitchen door, followed by a series of loud thuds. Heart pounding, I grabbed a flashlight and crept towards the sound, Sarah close behind me. The beam of light revealed claw marks gouged deep into the wood of the basement door. As we watched in horror, the door slowly creaked open on its own. The dog was nowhere to be seen. For a long moment we stood frozen, staring into the yawning darkness of the open basement. The flashlight beam trembled in my shaking hand. Every instinct screamed at me to run, but a morbid curiosity drew me forward. Step by creaking step, we descended the rickety stairs. The air grew colder with each foot we went down, carrying a musty, earthy smell. At the bottom, the flashlight revealed bare concrete walls and a dirt floor. In the center of the room, a section of floorboards had been pried up, exposing the dark soil beneath. Something was partially unearthed there, a shape wrapped in decaying fabric. With trembling fingers, I reached out and brushed away some of the dirt. A human skull grinned up at me, empty eye sockets seeming to stare right through me. Sarah screamed. I dropped the flashlight, plunging us into darkness. We scrambled up the stairs in blind panic, slamming the basement door behind us. We spent the rest of the night huddled in our car, too terrified to go back inside. As soon as the sun rose, we threw our essential belongings into the trunk and sped away, leaving most of our stuff behind. It wasn't until days later, after we'd found a motel far away and calmed down enough to think clearly, that I worked up the courage to call our landlord again. His casual tone made my blood run cold. Dog? What dog? That house hasn't had a dog in 20 years, not since the previous owner's pet died trying to dig up something in the basement. Buried it out back, if I remember right. I hung up without another word, my mind reeling. Sarah and I never went back to that house. We told the police what we'd found, but I don't know if anything ever came of it. Sometimes I still wake up in the night, thinking I hear the click of nails on hardwood or catch a glimpse of glowing eyes in the darkness. Whatever was in that basement, whatever that dog was trying to protect us from or warn us about, I hope it stays buried. Some mysteries are better left unsolved. I've been hearing it for weeks now, a faint thumping sound coming from inside my bedroom wall. At first, I thought it was just the house settling or maybe a neighbor's TV, but it kept happening, night after night, always around 3 a.m. I'd lie awake, staring at the wall, trying to convince myself it was nothing, but last night something changed. The thumping was louder, more insistent. I couldn't ignore it anymore. With shaking hands, I got out of bed and pressed my ear against the cool plaster. The sound was definitely coming from inside the wall. My heart raced as I ran my fingers along the surface, searching for, I don't know what. That's when I felt it. A slight indentation, almost imperceptible. I pushed, and to my shock, a small section of the wall swung inward like a door. My breath caught in my throat as I peered into the darkness beyond. Behind that false panel was my closet, but not the closet I knew. This one was deeper, stretching back farther than it should have been possible. With trembling fingers, I fumbled for my phone and turned on the flashlight. The beam illuminated a small, cold room hidden beyond the clothes and boxes. I hesitated at the threshold, every instinct screaming at me to close the panel and forget I'd ever found it. But curiosity won out. I stepped inside, the floorboards creaking ominously beneath my feet. The hidden room was barely larger than a walk-in closet, with bare walls and a low ceiling. Dust motes danced in the beam of my flashlight as I swept it around. In one corner stood a small, rusted bed frame with a threadbare mattress. Across from it, a cracked mirror hung crookedly, its silvered surface clouded with age. But it was what sat on a rickety table by the bed that made my blood run cold. A leather-bound journal, its cover worn and faded. With a sense of mounting dread, I picked it up and opened it to the first page. The handwriting was messy, almost frantic. But the words were about me. Every entry detailed my day, my actions, my thoughts, things no one else could possibly know. And the dates, they were from months ago. I flipped through the pages, my horror growing with each revelation. Intimate details of my life laid bare, analyzed and dissected by some unknown observer. How I take my coffee, the route I walk to work, even the shows I watch when I can't sleep at night. Who could have written this? How did they know so much about me, and why were they hiding in my walls? With trembling hands, I turned to the final entry. The words there made my heart stop. He's found the door, time to move back in. I dropped the journal like it had burned me, stumbling backward out of the hidden room. I slammed the false panel shut and wedged a chair under the doorknob of my closet. But I knew it wouldn't be enough. Now I sit here, writing this as the sun begins to rise. I haven't slept, I can't sleep. Because I know that whoever wrote that journal, whoever has been watching me all this time, they're coming back, and I have nowhere left to hide. The thumping in the walls has started again, louder now, closer. I can hear scratching like fingernails on plaster. The closet door rattles in its frame. I should run. I should get out of this house and never look back. But my legs won't move. I'm frozen in place, staring at that closet door, waiting for it to open. Because deep down, I know the truth. Whoever, whatever is on the other side. They've always been here. This was never really my home at all. The door is opening now. I can see a pale hand reaching out from the darkness. Fingers stretching towards me, beckoning me inside. And God help me, I think I'm going to follow. I don't know who will find this. I don't know if anyone will believe me, but if you're reading this, please, whatever you do, check your walls. Check your closets, because you never know what might be hiding just out of sight, watching and waiting for the perfect moment to reveal itself. As for me, I'm going into that room now. I have to know the truth, even if it destroys me. If I don't come back, well, I guess you'll know what happened. The thumping has stopped. The scratching is silent. All I can hear now is my own ragged breathing and the pounding of my heart. I'm standing at the threshold of the hidden room, peering into the inky blackness beyond. The air feels thick, oppressive. It's hard to breathe. I take one last look around my bedroom. The familiar furniture, the photos on the walls, all the trappings of the life I thought was mine. It all seems so hollow now, like a stage set about to be struck down. With a deep breath, I step into the darkness. The false panel swings shut behind me with a soft click. I'm engulfed in shadows, the beam of my flashlight barely penetrating the gloom. The air is stale, heavy with the scent of dust and decay. My footsteps echo unnaturally loud in the confined space. The bed is still there, the mirror, the table with the journal, but something's different. The room feels alive somehow. Waiting. I pick up the journal with trembling hands, flipping to the last page. There's a new entry there, the ink still wet. "Welcome home, we've been waiting for you." A chill runs down my spine as I realize the handwriting is my own. Suddenly the walls seem to press in around me. The shadows deepen, taking on strange, shifting forms. I spin around, heart racing, but the door I came through is gone. There's nothing but smooth, featureless wall. I'm trapped. From somewhere in the darkness I hear a soft laugh. It sounds like my voice, but wrong, distorted, hungry. "Who's there?" I call out, my voice cracking with fear. The laughter grows louder, echoing from every direction. I stumble backward, tripping over something unseen. As I fall, my flashlight slips from my grasp, clattering to the floor and going out. In the pitch blackness, I feel something brush against my cheek, cold fingers tracing the contours of my face. "We are you," a voice whispers in my ear. My voice. The real you, the one you've been hiding from all these years. I try to scream, but no sound comes out. The fingers tighten around my throat. "It's time to stop running," the voice says. "Time to become what you were always meant to be." I feel myself being dragged deeper into the room, into places that shouldn't exist. The darkness swallows me whole. As consciousness fades, one last thought flickers through my mind. I should have never opened that door. But it's too late now. Far too late. The hidden room has claimed another victim, and somewhere, in a house that looks just like mine, a new journal appears on a bedside table, waiting for the next curious soul to find it. Waiting to begin the cycle anew.